Hey guys. All right. I had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about with the NAUSEA universe in particular. So, as many of you guys know, the NAUSEA universe was something that I created kind of uh, in my own way of wanting to do something different for, my own. Uh, what my editor Trey has dubbed the Menard verse. uh, and a couple of people kind of said that, which I find very flattering. Um, but I wanted to do my own take on yesterday's Enterprise. Um, it was something that after doing, at the time, roughly like 80 films, I really wanted to do, I felt it was earned to do an alternate timeline and take these characters in a completely different direction as what we've seen them. Completely play them different. The what if stories. I feel as if a lot of the stories nowadays with fan films and uh, episodes of television, they play that type of story, but I don't feel like it's earned. And I feel like I had done enough with these characters that we've gotten to know them enough that I felt like it was finally earned. So I wanted to do, like I said, my version of yesterday's Enterprise. And if you rewatch the film Nausea, hey, what's up, Ian Mitchell? Hey, what's up, William Jackson? Um, but if you watch the first film Nausea, you'll see it's very heavily influenced from yesterday's Enterprise, from the hostility, like the heavily influenced, like the war with the Klingons. That is pretty much directly taken from that. Um, the darker elements of Starfleet. We're not quite the exploration of Starfleet that we should be. Even for a Vance film, which a lot of my films are known to be dark or more realistic takes on Trek. Um, this was a step in a darker direction, from the drug addiction of Menard to kind of throwing Starfleet under the bus. And then, like I said, the war with the Klingons. It was just something a little darker. Um, so that being said, um, that was something that I felt was really fun to do. Something that I felt was a one shot, considering the the creative team behind um, Chasing the Infinite Sky. They decided to do their version of the Constar, and that was what was the inspiration behind me doing this. Was because I felt that this CGI was unlike anything that I had seen before. I didn't want to use that for just a regular old episode of Constar. I wanted that to be, very much something different. So that was very much the influence and inspiration behind doing Nausea. So that led me to when I got to a sequel of Wasteland, because a lot of people had asked for if I was going to continue and do a sequel, which I was never really wanting to do a sequel. I always felt that it was a one shot. And I never really felt the need to return to that universe, which is one reason why I killed off the Menard character, because I kind of felt like this is all I have to say about this universe. There's really no need to go back. Um, so I started thinking of the ideas. What can I do that's worth telling? Because I never really wanted to be like one of those people, like the Hollywood types, that just goes back to the well over and over and over. Um, so I reached out to Sam Cockings and asked if he would be interested in working with me, because that was one of the things after now 100 films. It's kind of like I have a bucket list item of, a bucket list of things that I haven't done, and working with him is one of those things, where it's like it would be nice to do. It's not a requirement. It's just, I haven't done it. It'd be nice if I could. Are you interested? And he, of course, was, as you can see. I don't think it was anything that he was, beating down my door. Obviously he gets enough work, but he was gracious enough to, work with me. So that got me to thinking, okay, what story can I use for his talents? Because again, with Sam Cockings, that's not something that you just throw in your average everyday episode. So that got me to thinking of, okay, if I can bring Sam in, then I'll do this film. And I had already, I was already thinking that I would do this film, and what direction I would go. But having Sam do this, it really opened up the door for visually for something a little different, to kind of keep in that same vein of NAUSEA. Of just looking different, just on a visual scale when you look at it. So that being said, I had asked him, if he would be interested in creating the Doomsday Machine for the story for Wasteland, because that was something, I really wanted this to be, very much an obsession story, similar in tone to the first one. But yet very different, on a personal scale, but yet on a very different scale. So that being said, I've gotten quite a few requests from a lot of you about if I'm going to do a third one. Brian Englund, what's up, man? How are we doing, brother? Thank you for joining us. Just talking right now, very quickly about the NAUSEA universe films for Constar. So all that being said, I've gotten quite a few requests about doing another film inside the NAUSEA universe. A third film to coincide with NAUSEA and then Wasteland. So I have a story that I have discussed with another creative mind that I work with quite often, Greg Mitchell, about what a third film in this trilogy would be, a third and final film for this. So that being said, there will be a third film coming next season in the Constar, what I'm dubbing Constar Concludes series next season. So you will get a third chapter to finalize and wrap things up for this universe. So yeah, and to answer some of your guys' questions about the escape pod that was in the after credits of Wasteland, you guys will see and find out who is in it. I wouldn't leave you guys hanging like that. Although some of you are right, it is like me to leave you guys hanging for quite a few films. You guys won't have to wait too long to find out who it is. Although to get to know who the character is, you guys will wait to get to know who that is until next season. But you will find out who it is. But yeah, it's not something that I'm leaving up in the air. You will find out. But yeah, I will be doing a third episode next season for for this universe to conclude things. And it will be ending on, this is spoiler territory for you guys. It will be ending on a different note because I feel as if, ending on two tragic, destructive notes. I want to go in a slightly different direction for this, but it is an appropriate ending for this universe and for a trilogy of films that is its own kind of pocket universe. But it fits nicely within the Constar Chronicles, but yet can be watched on its own. So I'm glad. I'm glad Ian said it sounds great, and William says the suspense is great. I'm glad. That's the one thing. And again, like, I never mind giving you guys spoilers because I feel as if, if just talking to you guys, being open, that kind of helps. You guys are part of the creative process, because if you guys don't communicate with me what you guys want, I don't know what you guys want. And it's part of the fun, is creating stories that you guys want to see. If I just created what I wanted to see, who the fuck am I? I'm just some fat guy with pizza rolls and but no, it's one of those things where it's like I feel as if, even if I have a little bit of spoilers in there, if it's if the storytelling's good enough, you'll want to see it. I mean, that's why we watch films over and over and over, even though we've seen it a million times. So yeah, no, so that's where I'm at in terms of stories, or at least one of them. And I have been starting to plot out next season, getting story ideas. I do have an idea for what we're doing next season. I've been talking with the actors. Most of them are locked in. I will probably be doing a fundraiser, maybe before the summertime, probably another 1,000, to get more uniforms, some more props, just because we're gonna need some more. I did have a lady that I sent one of my uniforms off to, so she could film her part. And sad to say, she was not an honest person. So I'm down a uniform now, and I had to find someone else for the part, and I'm down a uniform. So it's stuff like that where it's like you wish people were, you wish everybody was honest. They're not. Shit like that sucks, because I knew the lady for like 5 years, and I don't usually trust people that I'm not sure about. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. So that's part of the way it goes sometimes. That's one reason why I do enjoy going to the cosplay groups and working with people who have their own uniforms, because it's one less stress, one less headache. But so I may be doing a fundraiser before the summertime, but I'm in no hurry, because I won't even probably be starting to write until the end of the year. But I do have ideas. So yeah, no, and that's that is yeah, it does suck. And the thing is, like, she, when I had talked with her, she held it for 2 months, and I Facebook called her, because she kept blowing me off, and she'd read the message but then would never get back to me. And I Facebook called her, like I felt like a fucking stalker. And I hate that feeling, because it's like the high school boyfriend that won't leave his girlfriend alone, who's like, oh, just one more call, one more, I felt like I was hanging outside her bedroom window throwing rocks. But so I Facebook called her, and she picked up, gave me a sob story. And I was like, well, hey, I'm in no real hurry for the footage. Just keep the communication open, you know. Um, that's all I ask, is just keep the communication open. And then it was about a month and a half, and I still was not getting any response to any more messages. And she'd read it and ignore me, continue to read it, ignore me, continue to read it, ignore me. And it's just like, fuck, really? And so I'd ask her, please just send me back my uniform. Still no response. Another month went by. Still no response. So I was just like, man, fuck. And nothing's more frustrating than feeling ignored, especially when you put yourself out there. So like that's the type of stuff, and that's why when people sit there and they nitpick your stuff, it's like, some of this stuff comes out of my own pocket, not just the donor's pockets sometimes, you know, um, and that's not fair. They don't see the struggles that we go through, or when, we send those uniforms off and then we come up missing. It's like, shit, now I got to buy it. So it comes out of our pocket, and it's like, my wife's going through school, it's like, my wife, we can't really afford it. I mean, damn, so it's like, well, things just take longer that way, So I mean, but don't feel bad for me. It's like, well, we'll make a film no matter what. You guys are very forgiving on putting out a product, or you guys understand when, instead of having this wonderful glossy, highly detailed LCARS background, when it's just a, blank wall, So I mean, it's like you cut corners where you can, um, but so anyway, all that being said, you take the good with the bad, and you smile, because for every one piece of shit person out there, there's 100 great people who are willing to help you out, you know and that's just part of the risk you take, um, and there's a dozen people out there who are good on their word, you know um, yeah. But anywho, so that being said, I just wanted to put it out there that for those who have asked about the NAUSEA universe, um, there will be a third chapter coming, a final or finale for it. And yeah, I just wanted to put that out there for you guys, give you a little bit of info on that. And I think I'm going to probably do these little updates from time to time. Not super long ones, but just, you know, just little updates, sporadically, keep you guys in the loop. Because you guys my people. So, but all right, guys. Yeah, yeah. The person should be ashamed. You would think so. It's, to me, it's surprising what people can live with, and what people can do and still look at themselves in the mirror. But it's on them. It is what it is. Um, flannel uniforms are in these days. Roy, that's don't tempt me, my friend. It is a Vance film, so yeah, it just might happen. It just might happen. So, all right, guys. Well, anyway, you guys have a great day, and with that in mind, be genuine, be safe, and keep on geeking on, guys.